Hello and welcome to Buzz News. I'm Kitty Nixon and here's your news this afternoon. Your top stories today: controversial plans to build an £80 million hospital on farmland, volunteers providing support for the local communities at Emmanuel Church, and Bournemouth under-18s beat Newcastle 5-0. Volunteer-led Emmanuel Church in Southbourne is providing support for the local community. Jess Goughton tells us more.
It's all hands on deck at the Emmanuel Church in Southbourne. The volunteer-run group offers incredible things for the community. Every Wednesday, a group of men do up, clean up and sharpen up tools that are donated by the public, which are then shipped to Africa. There are multiple roles available in their cafe, parent-toddler groups and much more. Volunteer coordinator Liz speaks on the benefits of volunteering.
As I'm sure you know, volunteering is really good for your mental health. It gets people out meeting others, so it's good for loneliness, interaction. And also just physically as well. I think, some of them have disabilities, but they'll come along and they'll join in the community lunch and they'll, go and get the dinner for the person that sat next to them, which is lovely. So, really, really good benefits,
With 3 visits a week from food banks, the free food and drink sections are always available for the public.
They all say they don't want to be thanked. Volunteers always say that, but I think it's really important to thank them, that they know that they're bringing so much joy to other people, and I think that's the thing. It's such a lovely gift, really.
Offering everything from dementia groups to youth clubs, there's plenty to get involved with here at the Emmanuel Church in Southbourne.
4 schools in Bournemouth and Poole say that they have no confidence in BCP Council. This comes after plans to cut 11% from educational budgets. Jessie Price is live in the newsroom with more.
Well, Kitty, 3 words that really stood out to me from the joint letter were raiding school budgets. The grammar school head teachers for Bournemouth Girls, Parkstone and Poole say they have no confidence in BCP's ability to manage school finances. Dr Dorian Lewis from Bournemouth School is one of them and says it would have a detrimental effect on both specialist and mainstream provisions. This has sparked a lot of concern for parents, with more than 2,000 people signing a petition. BCP Council are having to consider this to avoid going bankrupt. Back to you, Kitty.
A plan to build an £80 million hospital on farmland near Bournemouth University is being debated today. A major council planning committee is discussing the idea for the Nuffield Hospital at Highmoor Farm. The plans were thrown out by the council last summer over concerns of the impact it will have on the protected Talbot Heath wildlife. Chairman of the Talbot Village Residents Association, Jo Keeling, tells us her view.
There's only a small amount of green space left in the area. More importantly, that green space is right next to Talbot Heath, which is an area of triple SI, and obviously we want to try and preserve that. Within the middle of a housing area, it's just not the place to put a hospital. BCP Council said it will be an inconvenience, but I think they've completely underestimated that. There'll be people living here who are going to experience noise pollution, and there's nothing they can do to mitigate that. There'll also be air pollution from all the building works and the constant running of the hospital and the excess traffic on Wallersdown Road.
Critical Mass Bournemouth is due to hold its 7th cycling protest. The event has been organised by BCP's Extinction Rebellion group. The first event was held in July and takes place during the end of every month. The group aimed to promote alternative and sustainable modes of transport, such as cycling instead of driving a car. BCP is currently ranked as one of the most congested areas in the UK, according to research. Choosing to travel by bike just once a day can reduce the average person's carbon emissions from transportation by 67%. This also reduces the average carbon footprint by 75% when switching completely to bike travel. The key aim of the group is to bring the community together and spread the message about sustainability. One of the organisers, Adam Osmond, speaks about the urgency of the needed change.
And so what we're calling for is a radical change, because if we really acknowledge the climate emergency, which needs to be dealt with basically right now, and if we acknowledge facts like 100 pedestrians are dying a year in the UK getting hit by cars, it's an emergency. It needs to be dealt with right now. So to do our kind of classic solution of change the law, change the law, change the law, it's going to be too slow. So what we're saying is we need a radical change in infrastructure, so we need a whole overhaul, if we're really going to take this seriously, of bike infrastructure, public transport, buses, trains, And we also need a whole change in the way we think about each other as a community, how we care about each other. So our aim is to really bring those two things together. We need to care about one another, and we need to act pretty fast to achieve something.
The nominees for the 2024 BAFTA Awards were announced at midday. Graduates from Bournemouth University have a history of success in award season. Adam Barlow reports.
On Bournemouth University's Talbot campus, you'll find the Paul Gateway building, also known as the National Centre for Computer Animation. Graduates from courses which hold seminars in this building have gone on to work for companies like Pixar and worked on films like Soul, which won a BAFTA in 2021. Statues of Mike and Sully and a mural of Joe from Soul. All over campus you'll see reminders of the work that BU graduates have been a part of. Their projects have won them huge accolades too. 35-year-old Craig Tonks currently works for Jellyfish Pictures, but was part of the team at Double Negative that won a BAFTA for visual effects work on Interstellar, a Christopher Nolan film from 2014.
There's so many graduates, working in the industry right to the highest levels. Like, I've worked on Oscar and BAFTA winning films, but other graduates, I think my supervisor on it had come from BU like years back.
Adam Barlow, Buzz News.
Now the sport with Matt Dunster.
Thanks very much, Kitty. We start with football as Bournemouth under-18s had a memorable night in Newcastle in the FA Youth Cup. Alex Senji reports.
Bournemouth were the underdogs heading into this game, but a first-minute strike from Ashley Clark set the Young Cherries on their way. A subsequent hat-trick from Johnny Stuttle sealed a 5-0 victory for his side. Assistant manager Andrew Sermon spoke about the young striker.
Yeah, I think a lot of people seem to describe him as a bit of a throwback, sort of old-school number 9, and that's what he is really. He's physical, he's strong. Very, very good in front of goals, scores goals. But I think the main thing that stands out for me is his mentality. He goes into games with no fear. He goes in and gives everything every game. Obviously, all the hard work he's put in as well. So then, if you train well, we've always said if you train well from Monday to Friday and you turn up on a Saturday, then you've got to give yourself a good chance of.
Stuttle was pleased to have performed so well for his team.
Yeah, it was really good to grab a hat-trick last night. I think obviously being a striker, that's what I base my game off of. But no, it's surreal, to be honest. It hasn't really sunk in yet. But no, it's a really good feeling.
The Young Cherries will now have the opportunity to face Tottenham Hotspur in the 5th round of the FA Youth Cup. I've been Alex Senji, reporting for Buzz News.
That's all for today. Bye for now.